When you were a child, a single summer felt like it lasted forever. A school year stretched out like an entire era. But now, whole years vanish. You blink, and it's December again. You say, I can't believe it's already been 5 years, more and more often. Time hasn't actually changed speed, of course, so why does it feel like someone keeps pressing fast forward on your life? And can you slow it back down? The answer is one of the most quietly profound things psychology has discovered. And by the end of this video, you'll know how to stretch time back out again. Let's start with the most obvious explanation, and then go deeper, because the obvious one is only half the story. The first idea is called proportional theory, and it's beautifully simple. When you're 2 years old, 1 year is half your entire life. It's 50% of everything you've ever experienced. That's why it feels enormous. But when you're 50, 1 year is just 1/50th of your life, a tiny sliver against the vast backdrop of everything you've lived. So each passing year is a smaller and smaller fraction of your total existence, and your brain measures it against that ever-growing whole. By this logic, the years don't speed up, they shrink relative to the life behind them. It's a bit like watching a landscape from a train. The further you travel, the smaller each landmark appears in the distance. That's elegant. But it's not the whole truth, because it doesn't explain the strangest part, why some periods of life feel long even as adults, and others evaporate. For that, we need the more powerful explanation, and it has to do with memory and novelty. Here's the key insight. Your brain doesn't measure time by the clock. It measures time by memories, specifically by how many new, distinct memories you formed in a given period. When you look back and a stretch of time feels long and rich, it's because it's densely packed with fresh, novel experiences. When a stretch of time feels like it vanished, it's because your brain recorded almost nothing new. Now think about childhood. Everything is a first. Your first day of school, the first time you ride a bike, first friend, first heartbreak, first time seeing the ocean. Childhood and youth are a non-stop flood of firsts, and your brain, encountering all this novelty, records it in vivid, high-resolution detail. That's why those years feel so long and so full when you look back. They're stuffed with memories. But adulthood? Adulthood is built on repetition. Same commute, same job, same route to the same places, the same weekly routine, the same faces. And here's the crucial part. When an experience is familiar, your brain essentially stops recording it in detail. It runs on autopilot because it already knows the pattern. Think about driving a route you've driven 1,000 times. You can arrive home with almost no memory of the drive itself. Your brain didn't bother to store it. Now imagine years of life running on that same autopilot. Weeks blur into months, months into years, because your brain is laying down fewer and fewer distinct memories. There's simply less footage when you look back, so the time feels like it collapsed. This is why the summer you spent traveling somewhere new feels, in memory, longer than the 6 comfortable months at your familiar desk job. The traveling was dense with novelty. The desk months were a smooth, unbroken loop. Objectively, the 6 months were longer. But in the currency your brain actually uses, memories, the trip was richer, and so it feels longer in hindsight. Novelty is the raw material of felt time. There's even a related quirk psychologists have noticed. The more familiar and automatic your life becomes, the more time seems to leak away unaccounted for. Routine is comfortable, but comfort is, in a strange way, invisible to memory. So if novelty is what stretches time, then the way to slow down your life is not to add more hours, it's to add more memories. And that is entirely within your control. Here's how to actually do it. How to take back the years that routine has been quietly stealing. First, deliberately break your routines. Novelty doesn't require a trip around the world. It can be small. Take a different route home. Cook a cuisine you've never tried. Sit in a different chair. Rearrange a room. Each small break in the pattern forces your brain out of autopilot and back into recording mode. You're not adding time, you're adding memories. and memories are what time is made of. Second, chase first experiences on purpose. Since childhood felt long because it was full of firsts, keep collecting firsts as an adult. Learn a skill that's completely new to you. Visit a place you've never been, even a neighborhood across town. Meet people outside your usual circle. Every genuine first is a bright, high-resolution memory your brain will store in detail, a landmark that makes that period of life feel full when you look back on it. Third, be present, actually present. A huge amount of time vanishes not because life is repetitive, but because we're not even there for it. Scrolling through a meal instead of tasting it. Half watching a moment through a phone screen instead of living it. When you're not paying attention, your brain has nothing vivid to record, and that time simply evaporates. Presence is a form of time creation. The moments you fully inhabit are the moments you get to keep. And fourth, mark your time. Keep a journal, take photographs, note the small things. Not for social media, for memory. The simple act of recording an experience deepens how your brain stores it and gives you landmarks to look back on. People who journal often report that their years feel fuller and longer because they've given their memory something to hold on to. Now here's the deeper truth underneath all of this, and it's worth sitting with for a moment. The fact that time speeds up with routine isn't really a statement about clocks. It's a statement about attention. A life lived on autopilot, comfortable, familiar, unquestioned, will slip through your fingers almost unfelt. A life filled with novelty, curiosity, and presence will feel long and rich, not because it contains more hours, but because you were actually there for them. So the real question this raises isn't, why does time feel fast? It's something more honest and a little more urgent. Am I truly living my days, or am I just repeating them? Because the years feel short precisely to the degree that we stop paying attention to them. And the beautiful implication is the reverse. The more awake you are to your own life, the longer and fuller it feels. You can't add years to the clock, but you can add life to the years. You can make this coming year feel like more than a blur, by filling it with things your brain has never seen before. So this week, do just one thing you've never done. One small first. And notice how, when you look back on this week later, it stands out, bright and distinct, against all the ordinary ones that blurred together. That brightness is time, returning to you. If this made you want to wake up to your own life a little more, there's a whole playlist of these waiting for you. I'll see you in the next one.